We're going west for the lordly elk. Once elk ranged throughout America, but civilization has pushed them to western Canada and the Rockies. To the west, the mountains rise, and so do some fierce statues of the big game that earlier bowmen must have faced. The hunter's spirit rises here as well. The time is nearer when the arrow will lie against the bow, ready to be loosed at the target. It's fall, and flocks of sheep block the way. Beyond these last hesitant domestic creatures, higher up, we'll meet a wild and canny foe. Hunters versus prey, fairly matched. Wyoming and Jackson Lake is before us, borrowing its blue from the sky, ringed by the mighty Tetons. And beyond the lake, we reach the end of the road. We'll go on from here by horse. Readying a pack train of horses takes time. Bundles must be compact and not too heavy, and the loads must balance. You lash them so they'll hold together on the rough stretches. You need 2 1/2 horses per man for this trip, 1 to ride and 1 1/2 to carry food and gear. And it's very important not to come out with half a horse left over. We turn now toward the distant peaks, single file along a trail that the Forest Service made for hunters and for firefighters if necessary. There's a beaver pond here, and on the far side of it is a newly constructed beaver lodge. Near it, Mr. Beaver himself, not often seen in daylight, swimming here among the lilies that make up most of his summer diet. Near evening now, and a beautiful campsite. The elevation about 5,000 feet. Here we'll stay. There's a stream nearby, and the neighbors seem friendly. It's morning, and we prepare for hunting. Sharp arrows come first. Various styles of hunting broadheads may be used, but whatever the style, you keep them as sharp as a good mill file will get them. And once you sharpen an arrow for hunting, you never shoot it for practice or stick it carelessly in the ground. Next, a little target shooting to sharpen the eye and loosen the muscles. Nick Knickerbocker of Virginia. Judd Grindell of Wisconsin. Fred Bear of Michigan. Behind us, the mountains rise another 3,000 feet, steep forested slopes, home of the elk. Chuck Kroll from Michigan is first to try for game. A brilliant patch of mountain ash berries catches his eye. Why not? A sprig of bright berries for the otherwise somber hat may bring good luck. This is the time of year the elk are mating. Challenging bugles of the bulls sound across the canyon throughout the day. The larger bulls round up the cows in a sort of harem, and the lesser bulls challenge their rights by bugling. We fashion a call from dry stems of the wild parsnip with which to imitate the bugle of the bull elk. You can tell the size and age of bulls by their bugles. Young bulls shrill and high, older ones deep. The calls are made like the willow whistles everyone knows. The mouthpiece is a wooden plug shaped from an alder branch. Not bad at all. Along the mountain ledges, footing is precarious. Somewhere up ahead, near the rocky ravine that has been stripped of trees by the snowslides of winters past, Chuck knows the bull elk are pondering this latest call, which to them means a threat to their favorite cows. Then, among the distant trees, a small herd appears. He must be careful to keep the wind in his face, his movements steady, cautious. He should get within 30 yards of game to be sure of the accuracy of his arrow. The wary elk sense something amiss. They glance furtively among the trees around them. Chuck keeps out of sight. He's been a cause for alarm, but only a mild one so far. Then he sees his chance. One of the bulls has been hit. He dropped into a dark and heavily wooded ravine. Chuck has dressed out the kill, and he climbs from the ravine with antlers as proof of his prize. His return to camp is triumphant. A good bull and a good trophy. The first lucky hunter in a party of 5. This evening around the fire, the talk is bigger than ever, and so is the comradeship. There are other reasons besides the elk for hunting this country, and some of them make mighty good eating. It's the last day of the hunt, and Fred Bear decides to act on a plan he and the head guide, Lon Imeson, had discussed earlier. They're going on an expedition to territory not yet hunted. The day is warm and clear. It's a joy to be in the woods, and the stream sparkles invitingly. Up ahead in the dense growth at the edge of the woods, Fred sees 2 bull elk. A concentrated herd may be nearby. One of the big bulls in this vicinity has collected a harem of cows. The lesser bulls are trying to muscle in. There's much bugling among them and thrashing of brush with their great antlers. During this time, they're ready to charge each other at the slightest provocation. It's not uncommon for several bulls to engage in a free-for-all, with some particularly attractive cow as the prize. While the elk are occupied with these affairs apart, Fred has a good opportunity to work up to within 30 or 40 yards of them. He has his eye on the biggest bull. To enrage him still more, he blows on his call. Then, picking up a stick, he beats it against a dry limb in the manner of a pair of antlers against a tree. He hears a loud bugle in reply, followed by crackling twigs. The bull has reacted according to plan. He's alerted, watchful, but not frightened. His attitude suggests that should this new intruder appear, he'll be driven off in short order. Fred eases forward again until he comes to a spot that offers a clear path for the arrow. At any moment, the great bull may present an open target. The herd scatters in all directions, all but the great bull. He died running, less than 400 yards from where he was hit. Only his antlers lodging against a tree kept him from plunging farther down the slope. The arrow has done its work well. Antlers this size make camp history. 12 points and a 50-inch spread. A royal elk. And so we carry the antlers back to camp. The meat is quartered and left to cool. We'll pack it in tomorrow morning. But for hunting, this has been the last day. 5 hunters, 2 elk. Not a large number, but for a party of 5 bowmen, a respectable reward. When the bow hunter comes down from the hills, comes back to camp with his prize, he does it with a greater sense of personal triumph than most sportsmen ever feel. The bow and arrow is an old heritage, yet discovery. And the flight of a good arrow is as true as the skill and the nerve of the man with the bow. The future for bow hunting is good. Once men beset these proud game animals and their numbers dwindled. But in the maturity of our country, we've wisely conserved them, rebuilt the herds, and hunted with sportsmanship.